Hi everyone, welcome back to MMA UK. I'm Jared Miller. It's a pleasure to be joined this afternoon by Cage Warriors Middleweight Champion Mick the Atherton Hammer Stanton. Mick, how are we, mate?
I'm good, mate. Very good. Thank you. Yourself?
Yeah, perfect. Thank you for taking the time out of your day again. It's massively appreciated. So we're about 5 weeks away from your first middleweight title defense. I've seen on your socials you've been training really hard. How's preparations and your fight camp been going in the lead up to this?
Yeah. I always train hard. I feel fantastic, if I'm honest. This is going very smoothly, this camp. Everything's going really well. I know what I've got to work on. Like I said, I've fought James Webb before, so I know what I need to do to beat him, and it's all going great.
Yeah. So as you just mentioned, for those that don't know, you're taking on James Webb. You're defending the belt for the first time. I know, and you just mentioned there as well. You've fought once before. We'll get on to that fight in a minute. But how do you see him as an opponent nowadays?
I think I fought the best James Webb last time.
Mm.
I don't think he's got any better. He's still the same. I think he's been finished a few times since I fought him. And I watched his fights back in the last couple of fights, and he hasn't changed. He's not progressed. He's still the same James Webb. And like I said, I know what I've got to do to beat him.
Yeah. And you did unfortunately come up short in that last fight. But is there anything you can take from that fight, learn, train in the gym, and then bring into this next one coming up?
I'm a totally different fighter from the last fight with James Webb. I progressed so much. I actually went to welterweight after that fight.
Yeah.
I was actually sort of plant-based at the time. I lost all my muscle mass. I went tiny. I only cut like 2 kilo of water. Now I put the size on. I'm a bigger middleweight.
Yeah.
My coach Darren Morris, who is the best in the game, worked with me very hard, and I leveled up massively. When I watched the last fight back, I made massive mistakes that gave James Webb opportunities, and I don't make them mistakes anymore.
Yeah.
My wrestling is 10 times better.
Yeah.
Striking, me footwork's better. I'm a totally different fighter,
Yeah.
and I know exactly how to beat James Webb. I've fought very high caliber fighters since I fought James Webb, and I've done fantastic since then. I've constantly progressing. I'm constantly getting better. I've had fights where I've had injuries, and I've been 60%, and I've pulled a win off. Most fighters wouldn't even get in there.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to show the improvements since my last fight, how much I've come on again. And I just constantly keep evolving.
Yeah, and changing the conversation a little bit, as you just mentioned there, you were at welterweight before as well, and I know you fought a light heavyweight too quite recently in PFL, I think it was. Do you think middleweight is that's the one for you now? That's where you perform at your best?
It is, yeah. Especially 5 rounds. I've got the gas tank.
Yeah.
I'm not a big middleweight. I know that, but I can bang hard. I've got fantastic wrestling. Me grappling. It's the pace of the fight that breaks people. And me technique. There's fights where I've gone underneath and I beat people up. George Smith, for instance, I knew he was going to take me down. I accepted the takedown and I beat him up from the bottom. I think I remember sort of wobbling him on the bottom. I caught him with an uppercut and he went limp. And then the stoppage come. I can fight on top, I can fight on the bottom, I can fight on the feet. And me wrestling, I know my wrestling is the best in Europe. I know it is. If I put it up there with the best in the world. And mix it with the grappling. I think I'm ready for the big stage.
Mm. And do you think the 5 rounder, because it was a 3 rounder against James Webb before, do you think the 5 rounder suits you more?
I remember saying to James Webb after the fight, next time I'll do 5 rounds, because I knew he had nothing left.
Yeah.
And like I said, I'm a totally different fighter now. So he's bigger and he's stronger. He looks very good. He's a big middleweight. I remember being shocked at the size of him when he had hold of me.
Yeah.
But now I'm bigger,
Mm.
and I look forward to making him fail. I look forward to watching his face after the first round. because he's a one-trick pony.
Yeah.
You know, he's not a striker. He comes out and has a standing fight. Happy days.
Yeah.
He can only do the one thing. He'll put you on the cage, he'll take you down and try and take you back or get head and arm top. That's all he's got. So as soon as he can't do that, he's going to get desperate.
Yeah.
As soon as I make him fail, that's when I'll start pinging him and I'll take over. I know exactly how the fight's going to go. I've got it in my head. I'm excited. I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah. And coming into it, obviously you're on a 2-fight winning streak. He is on a 1-fight winning streak. He beat Paddy McCrory last November. Is form something you look into coming up to a fight? Is it something the gym looks into, or is it something that you're not too bothered with?
What do you mean by form? Sorry.
So form coming into it in terms of how many, if you've won so many in a row, if you've lost so many in a row, into that too.
Well, the last loss I had was a last-minute fight at light heavyweight. So if you take that out the question, you know, I've won the last 6 or 7 fights against top middleweights.
Yeah.
Like I said before, since James Webb fought me, he's been on a very big decline. He's been beat. He's been knocked out. He's you know, when you've been knocked out, it takes something from you. You know, I've never been knocked out in my career. I've been fighting since I was a young boy.
Yeah.
And I'm proud that I haven't done that. You know, there's fights that I wrestle. You know, it's MMA, 4-ounce gloves.
Yeah.
Some lads, Will Currie, who was just fought, he's a fantastic striker, dangerous kicks. You know, you'd be silly to go toe to toe with someone like that.
Yeah.
I really do believe that I've got the ability to take James Webb apart now. And like I said, he's been on a decline. The people who've beat, the last lad he beat, he's nobody. You know, I don't think he's beat anyone decent, if I'm honest. If you put the names I've fought against the names he's fought, I should be favourites. I know I won't be, because I'm never the favourite. You know, don't understand what I'm doing. They don't get my game plans, and that's what makes it so special. My coach, Adam Morris, I can't thank him enough for the knowledge he's passed on. People don't know what we're doing. You know, I give Will Currie me back, and I was attacking arm locks. They didn't even see it, the commentators. Don't even know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But that's great. That's great, because if you don't know what I'm doing, how do you beat me?
As you just said there, you were the underdog going into that Will Currie fight. Does that affect your mentality at all, or is it not something that
I really enjoy being the underdog? I do. It doesn't bother me whatsoever.
Yeah.
I love testing myself. You know, I have fought, keep saying it, I fought the best out there.
Yeah.
My record's 11-7. It's not a good record, but if you look at the names we were fought, I think my pro debut, he was a bit of a bum. I'll admit it, but that's the only sort of easy fight I've had.
Yeah.
In all them fights, you know, look at these up and comers who had Will Currie fought bums. I knew I'd beat it. He was a lot better than I thought he was going to be. I'll admit that. He's a good lad, but I knew he's never been took into deep water. And every fight I go there and I dragged him into deep water, and I found my style now. When I fought James Webb last time, I was still putting my techniques together off my new coach, Darren Morris. I was only there a year.
Yeah.
You know, it took me time to find my style. I was an amateur boxing national champion as a young lad. You know, I'm putting that together with the wrestling and the grappling, and MMA striking is not like boxing. It's a totally different sport. And I've evolved and I've got better and put it all together. And now I'm just going to keep winning and keep showing the world what I can do.
Definitely. And just finally on Cage Warriors 157, your upcoming fight, I actually am speaking to James Webb on Tuesday. I wondered if you had a message you wanted to say for me to pass on, anything you want to get out there before this Tuesday interview?
I just want you to tell him to be ready and bring it. I want him to be the best James Webb. No excuses, nothing. Bring it. And I look forward to beating him, and I'm going to smash him.
Perfect. I'm sure that's what he wants to hear. And I was lucky enough actually to be at your win against Will Currie. I was in the audience.
Yeah.
It was an amazing fight. You know, great main event. Can you describe your emotions for that night? You know, both during the fight and after winning the belt.
If I'm honest, it was the worst fight camp of my life.
Really?
The things that went wrong in that fight camp, 99% of fighters would have pulled out. I had injuries. I had blood infection. I had my training partners all got injured. Now, with a small team at ASW, every single one of them was out with injury. 3 weeks before that fight, I could eventually train properly because with the infection I had. I was out for weeks. As soon as the fight got made, I got an injury which led to an infection, and I was ill in hospital with it. And I just cracked on, and I do not know how I won the fight. It was that bad, the camp. I was in there for the payday. It was a tough year last year, and I knew I'm 36 years of age. I've got a wife, 3 kids. I've run a business. I've run a gym. That was my last chance. I was not going to get another chance, so I knew I had to get in there. So to win that fight with that much of a bad fight camp against a great fighter, Will Currie, I was shocked. I couldn't believe I'd done it, if I'm honest. I was really emotional. And now this feels like I get time to show what I can do. Because I'll be honest, that wasn't me in there. I got it done, but that was like me at 50%. I just winged it and got the win, which is crazy.
After going through all that adversity in your training camp that you've just mentioned, what does that tell you about yourself that you then, even if you think you're at 50%, still put on a performance that good against a really talented opponent?
I'm a hard bastard. That's it.
Yeah.
I'm a tough bitch. That's it. I'm hard to kill. I'm tough, and you've got to put me out. You have got to put me out, or beat me on points.
So you've kind of touched upon it there. You said you're at 50%, but how would you rate that performance yourself, let's say out of 10? And then how would you also rate it against other fights throughout your career? Is it the best? Is it, where does it rank?
No, I can't even watch the fight back. If I'm honest, I cringe watching it.
Really?
Yeah, I had no sparring all camp, which is, I love to fight, I love to spar, and I practice routine, I get comfortable. Some fighters say they don't spar, which I think is absolute bonkers, and I don't believe it, because it's timing, it's precision, timing your takedowns off the strikes and everything. I need to spar, and when I get to 1 week out and I'm sick of sparring, and then I look forward to the fight and getting it done. My best performance, I think, was Davin Stewart. To come up against such a high-level fighter and not even take a shot. I've done everything my coach asked me to do, and I got the win. I do believe I can beat Davin Stewart now. He's fighting Matthew Bonner for the Titan Eliminator. I think he'll beat Bonner. I fought them both. Really do think he'll beat Bonner, and I look forward to fighting him again after I beat James Webb, and I'll stop him. I know I will, because I've evolved that much. But I've had George Smith was a very good performance. He was a fantastic judoka, fantastic grappler, and I KO'd him. Sort of retired him. And I think he's had health issues since that, so he's not fought again. But he was like I said, people don't know what I'm doing, and to go underneath a fantastic grappler and beat him up and get a stoppage, it looks like he was winning the fight, but that was the game plan all the time. So that fight with Will Currie, like I said, I just winged it. I just found a way to win. I was a better grappler, so I had to get it to the floor. I had to give him top position, and I used my scrambles and to get on top, beat him up. I had a few submission attempts. He was tough. He's very tough. That double wrist lock I had, and that Kimura was on, and he powered out of it somehow. I thought it was going to take his shoulder off, if I'm honest. Like I said, it was me at 50%, and I got it done. But I can't watch it back. It annoys me. I'm better than that. I'm a lot better.
What is it for you? What does it mean to be champion? With your family as well. Has your mindset changed at all since winning the belt, or has anything changed, or is it still the same old grind?
If I'm honest, I dreamt about being a world champion all my life, and I've done it. And I think I've got so much more to give. Like I said, I work full time. Lucky enough, I work in the gym. I'm a head coach of Urban Kings, so I work around my training. But I'm doing 40-hour weeks working and fighting 5-round fights, which is bonkers. Not many people can do that, and I do it because I have to do it, because I've got to pay bills and look after the family before I fight. So, like I said, I've got so much more to give. and I can believe I can go a lot further than this. I don't feel like I'm being tested. I know the fights look, like I said, that was 50% in that fight, and I won a world title on it. I'm gonna show you the best Mick Stanton you've ever seen in this fight. I'm gonna take James Webb clean out, and then we're gonna see what comes. I work hard. I work very hard, and I do believe I I should get a shot on a big show and get some big paydays. I've been fighting a very long time, and I fought the best of the best. So that's my dream now, to make it worthwhile for me wife and my kids, and look after them.
Yeah, definitely. And you kind of brought it up a bit there when you mentioned Matt Bonner, somebody we're actually speaking to later this week as well. He's from a similar area to Merseyside. We get a lot of people on the show from Next Generation Gym and stuff like that. How talented do you think the area you're from is at the minute? Because obviously you're getting a lot of these young stars through at the minute, and stars like yourself who are winning these titles. How talented do you think the area is?
The Northwest has always been a big hit for fighting. Like I said, the boxer's a young lad, and it was the hardest thing to get was out of the Northwest area in the national championships boxing. Northwest and London have always been the best fighting capitals. So we really do need Cage Warriors back in Liverpool. I do. I asked them last time, and there's nowhere to host it. Unfortunately, the M&S Arena,
Right.
which was the Echo Arena, they don't like cage fighting. They don't want it at the arena, so that's out of the question, which is a shame.
Yeah.
So hopefully, my goal is to get it back to Liverpool to defend my title after I beat James Webb. And I do believe we can find somewhere. I do believe we can sell it out. Like you said, it's a hot spot for fighting. There's so many talented fighters in Liverpool and the Northwest. So it'd be good to see Cage Warriors back in Liverpool, and it'd be even better to headline the show.
Yeah, and I don't know if you're in camp at the minute. Are you have you started your camp started yet for the?
Yeah. I only need a couple of weeks to
Yeah.
peak. I train twice a day every day, 52 weeks of the year.
Yeah.
Even I go away with the family for a week on holiday in the summer, I train then.
Yeah.
It's just my lifestyle. My coach has to tell me to slow it down constantly, because 2 weeks of graft, I'm ready to fight. So yeah, my camp's ticking over.
Yeah.
I'm holding back a little bit, and 4 weeks out, we go really hard.
Yeah. Are you currently in Atherton Submission Wrestling? Is that the place you're at the minute?
I am, yeah. I'm at ASW, and we train in my coach's back garden in a small barn, and it's I think the right term is called the Hell Barn. It's an amazing place, and not many people could hang out there. It's tough.
Do you think those like more humble gyms suit somebody like yourself more?
I'm a proper fighter. I like to grind it out, and me, Darren Morris, Lee Chaddy, Emil, and we've got 2 Iranian wrestling champions who train with us, and we kill each other. We go at it constantly. It's Darren Morris is the best in the game. He is an absolute savage. He's in his 50s, and his level of experience is the best in the world.
Yeah.
But the way we train, it's the real way, it's the fighting way, the way I was brought up boxing. There's nowhere to hide. And we've had, since I've been there 5 years, we've had hundreds of people come and want to train with us, and they never come back because it's that tough.
Yeah. Yeah. And so in the gym as well, we've been talking about how you kind of mentioned that, but how is it on a day-to-day basis, and what kind of atmosphere is in there, and how does that mold the fighters that are training in there, as you mentioned?
I go to Darren's twice a week at the moment, up to ASW twice a week, and we just put the clock on and we just wrestle and we grapple. We work strategies, we work positions, but we battle. Monday, Wednesday, Friday mornings, I'm at Urban Kings. I've got a fantastic team there. With a young gym, but I've got a good team around me who push me. Got a young amateur, Elliot McGibbon, who's a fantastic fighter. He's fighting next week on FCC. He's got big things to come. He's a great training partner. And I've got another fantastic fighter. Who's my trainer partner at ASW, Emil. He's making his pro debut on FCC next week alongside Elliot, and we've got a good team. And I've got the legend himself, Lee Chaddy, who's now retired from fighting, but he's still a good trainer partner. He's still with me, constantly grinding. He'll never change that. He's a fighter, and you can't get better than that. You know, the training partners I've got are the best, and you know, shows in my performances how much I've come on, and that's through getting in there and working hard every single training session.
Yeah, I've spoken to other fighters as well that do coaching as well, and they've said that the coaching has actually ended up improving their game, because if they get caught out in a training or a sparring session, they then have to learn from their students. Is that something you find as well? It improves your game, the coaching side of it.
Yeah, it does, because you're practicing and you're teaching your methods, so you're constantly going over things. I train with my team every night. I'm on the mat. I don't just coach or train with them, and I push them hard. And obviously, they're a very good level training with me, and they now push me. So I've got them to that much of a good level where I'm benefiting from it, and I've got a good team around me in my own gym, and that helps me, you know, progress as a fighter.
Yeah, definitely. And I asked this to quite a few people I interview, because I always find it quite interesting. Is there any fighter in particular you love watching at the minute, or who's your favourite fighter of all time to watch?
Yeah, I enjoy watching John Jones.
Yeah.
He's a made up. He's back fighting.
Mm.
He's unbelievable. I just love the sport, if I'm honest. There's different styles. You know, it's nice to see and pick up on what everyone's doing, and watching the sport and see it evolve. You know, Leon Edwards, what an amazing fighter, what he's done for the UK, and you know, it's great to watch him. He's a great ambassador for the UK MMA.
Yeah, 100%. I 100% agree. And finally, I don't want to take too much of your time today, mate. We ask this of everybody who comes on the show. What are your both short-term goals? What are you planning on for the next few months, next few years? And then what do you think your MMA career looks like in the end? And what does the future hold for you yourself?
Yeah, well, I'm 36 now, and like I said, I feel like I've got so much more to give.
Yeah.
I believe after I'm done with Cage Warriors, I should get shot on a big show and get good paydays, and then fighting will be all these years of the grind and fighting since I was a young lad will be worth it, and I'll keep going till I get there. I will do. I'm mixing them with the best, and I'm world champion, so I'm just gonna keep pushing that pace and see what I can do and see what comes.